back to Hobby Potter Weekly. My name is Tammy Jo Chat, and this is the third week I've been sharing the happenings in my studio. It is a journal entry of things that I've done. So last week I had finished by saying I wanted to do sculpture this week, and the only sculpture I did was actually the luminary I made for a clay party that I went to, which I'm going to share that with you too. It's outside the studio, but theoretically I'm doing clay, so I shared the whole party and it was so much fun. Had a great time. Thank you, Nicole. Happy birthday. Thank you, Sandra Veneman, for teaching the class to all of us. And I'm going to share that with you in a second. After the birthday party, I threw on the wheel and did lots and lots of glazing. So that's what you have coming up. And at the end, like I said last time, I'm going to share a very short chit chat because those that don't want to hear me talk don't need to. They can shut it off right after they watch the clay work. And those that want to listen, you'll get to hear the thoughts of my journal entry for the week. Thanks for watching, and here we go.
Okay, I don't know if you can hear me, but I am on my way to a fun little adventure with my friend Nicole, and she's doing a clay play day. I've never been to one. Kind of excited at it. They're doing it at the Chartreuse Muse. They just got a brand new ceramic area in the art gallery. So I'm curious to see what it looks like. They haven't had this before, and they're starting to open up classes, I think, for people that want to do ceramics. So anyone in and around Modesto, there is a new venue to go to. But anyway, I'm excited to see what it's about, and I'll share a little bit with you to show what happened in my Hobby Potter week. They're turning this into a ceramic studio, and there's Sandy. Hi, everybody. Hey. It's on video, so you can move around. Like this? Hey. There you go.
What they do with that kind of clay is they take that clay and they fire some of it, and they'll grind it up into a certain fineness, and they'll add it back into the clay. And what that does is it makes it so that you can do sculptural pieces or build pieces that won't shrink so much or crack, and they're a little bit stronger as you.
Your pieces are gorgeous. Thank you. Nicole, happy birthday to you. Thank you.
Yay, the bisque load was a success. I just did brown clay. I probably should wash my hands first before I air the incense burners. I'm gonna sand them a little bit. Here's my little Otto. His leg popped off. I don't know if I shared that in the last video, but it did. And this little guy, I knew that was happening. His little tail cracked. So it was a good thing it didn't. I'm gonna play it out to the end because I think he's cute, and maybe I can try like fishing. Maybe I can do something different with it. But I just think he's cute. Hopefully all my little plates and trays made it. Bisque cup mold. I just made that out of clay instead of having to use plaster. I'm going to sand it down a little bit because I see like a little dot there, and that'll show when I use it, but very exciting. Okay, I'm going to be doing some glazing today, and before I start, there's something I really have to do. I need to test out these two new glazes that I got for my daughter's wedding so that she can pick what color she actually wants. She may even want both. But anyway, let me just go ahead and test these out. I'm going to put on some test tiles, and I'll hold off on these guys to fire, I think, until the next go around. Okay, so I put 3 different layers. I did 1, and then I started halfway in the middle, and then did the second layer, and then this right here, the darkest one, is halfway in between the texture for the third. This one's done 1 and then 2, and I'm waiting for that to dry so I could do the third layer. Okay, what I'm doing is I just spread some glaze on here, and I'm gonna stamp the center. I'm testing this out to see if it looks decent. Should have dabbed it first. Now what? See, that's how the first one turned out. Not too bad. She just wants a little splash of color, maybe. She'll like that. is it for this week's Hobby Potter Weekly. I know there are no end results. I always get messages about that when I show that I do glazing and I don't show the end. The reason is because here we are Friday and they're in the kiln, but I haven't fired up the kiln because I have a couple more things to do. And then once I fire it up, I'll show you guys next week how they all turned out. So thanks for watching. Hang around if you want to hear the chit chat. If not, we'll see you next time. Okay, it's time for some chit chat. This week was a really fun week for me, and it started out because Nicole had her birthday party at the Chartreuse Muse. Sandra Veneman taught us how to build cylinders, and I learned a lot of little tips that I never thought of before, which is great. I'm always open to that. But she was so easy to learn from. Thank you for inviting me, Nicole. Thank you, Sandra, for teaching so well. She gave us the basics, and then she let us go and be creative. I'm gonna tell you something funny is, when you're in that situation, in a classroom situation, you have the limited amount of tools. I'm used to being in my studio where it's like, you know, I want to make that thing and I know that tool that does that. Well, there were a handful of wood tools, a pin tool, and some texturing. I took a picture of it. It's in the video back there somewhere. But it was really exciting for me to sit there and go, what am I going to do with what I have, you know? So, you know, these people probably thought it was strange. The sweet ladies, they're so nice. Had a great time. A lot of fun people there. But, okay, here's what I did. I'm going to show you. I made the texture, my pattern on my shoe. This was my texture on my luminary that I was making. And the other thing was, I didn't take a finished result of my luminary. I was so excited by everybody else's work that I got home later and I was like, I didn't even take a picture of it. So we'll have to see how it turns out when it's all done. It'll probably be a couple weeks before we get those back. So I'll share that with you in a video too. That inspired me for the rest of the week. I came home, went in my studio, and I wanted to make something big, so I grabbed my brown reclaimed stoneware, threw a couple bowls, and I felt great. This was awesome. But the favorite part of the bowls was trimming, because that reclaim is brown stoneware. Well, let me tell you the story. That was reclaimed by a gentleman that works at the university, and they have a pug mill. And I brought my white clay and my brown clay. And I said, you know, just do the white clay first, and then whatever's left, don't worry about cleaning out the pug mill, just throw the brown clay in. Well, he did that, and the clay was too wet, so he goes, she doesn't care. He'll throw the sculpture clay in that he had there. And this is the best clay I've ever seen. It's so awesome, because when I throw with it, and then trim later, it looks marbled. Everything is marbled in there because it's got the mixture of the white, the sculpture, and the brown. Oh, I love it. And I'm almost out. I said that in a past video, but I probably have maybe 20 more pounds, 15 or 20 more pounds left of it, and then I'll never see it again, and I can't recreate it because it was all just a random mix. But I loved throwing on the wheel this week, and I have a little secret about my glaze work. You want to know what it is? Everything you saw me glaze this week is a test. There isn't one thing that I was specifically making to make it a certain way. All of these were tests. I was testing the texture that I put on the incense burners. I was testing the glaze on the flowers. I was testing the color combinations. I was testing how I wanted to glaze the textured part. I had a lot of other, like you saw, I had those little pendants. I was testing glazes and how they would look. There wasn't anything that I could say, I want this to look like this, so I'm using this. Everything was like, I'll try that and that and see what that does. That and that and see what it does. So the opening of the kiln next week is going to be real exciting for me because I'll have learned from it. I think that's what I like. I'll have learned from it. But anyway, that's it for this week. Thanks for joining me. Feel free to comment and post below. You're my school. You're my ceramic class. I got to experience that this Monday. But I realize that's what, when people post comments and they chat with me, or they give me their ideas, or they share what they're doing, I feel like I'm in a class where everybody is communicating and talking about clay, which is a lot of fun. So feel free to just shoot me some questions or say hi or whatever down below. I'd really appreciate it. Thanks for watching, and we will see you next week. I have, should I say what I have planned? Next week I have some massive work that I need to do because I have to finish something huge. And yeah, so I'm getting ready to work on that after these glaze pieces come out of the kiln. So we will see you next week. Thanks again. Bye.